It's unfinished sarcophagus
Ah,
that was found in a workshop.
in a workshop.
Yes, where it was actually being carved, and then apparently they stopped, they never completed it, and it gave us some ideas about how they were cutting the granite and shaping the sarcophagi. Let's take a look to the backside, because it's the unfinished part. When you take a look around here, Andy, you see that the cutting process of the backside started from this edge,
Right.
and then they were cutting toward the other side. Apparently, on the way toward completing the entire backside, the artisan went out of the mark, and then the edge became no longer equal, no longer precise, so they had to stop. But what object, Andy, can cause this cut? As you see right here, deep cut goes into the rose granite in both sides. Simultaneously, they were cutting with an object that we don't know how, and what object is this that can leave these black marks along the surface that only could be caused by fire.
By fire, yeah.
So I had this architect coming here with me in a day tour before, and he told me that probably they created some sort of a wire, and this wire had stone around it, and they used to soak it in oil, fire it, and then they put it along the body of the sarcophagus, and by help of two horses and two men, somebody grabs this horse, so it goes to the front, and then loose it, and the other one it grabs, so it creates this cutting mechanism that can actually cut both edges in the same time. Chamber.
Oh, wow. So they moved this from where?
Oh, this was in Saqqara.
Also Saqqara.
Yes. A burial chamber is a small room, rectangular room, dedicated for the offerings, scenes. The scenes of the offerings that every spirit, or the offerings that needed to reach the afterlife. The journey to the afterlife that, as we agreed, without taking an Uber, it took them 12 hours. The scenes you see inside, on the left-hand side, you see the food scenes. Variety of food, divided into parts. Every name is written. And then the right side depicts jars that contained water, oil, milk, and wine. And then, how come all these offerings become real? They added a magical spell, a magical formula, known as the Hatshepsut di Nisu. You can start reading it from here. Hatshepsut di Nisu. And then reads the entire magical formula, and then all that offerings will become real. So the spirit can feed and continue its journey to the afterlife. And right here we have one of the earliest life-size statues ever found.
Oh, okay.
It is the statue of King Djoser or Djoser,
That's on my
first
list.
king
Yes.
that ever buried in a pyramid.
Wow.
His architect Amenhotep, who gave us the start of the pyramid age, the age that lasted for 1,000 years. And the statue was found in a chapel right outside his pyramid. It was part of the funeral temple, or the funerary temple, that was built outside the pyramid in order to be used after his death to perform his cult. King Djoser was worshipped as a god after his death. So the statue depicts him seated on his throne. He's wearing the royal headdress Nemes. The black color of the hair wig is still over there, the original color, that also covers the beard, the false beard. You see how he's protecting his heart with his right hand?
Yes.
And then the entire body is depicted in a way that probably he was wearing a garment that used to be worn in the Hatshepsut festival, the festival of renewing, or the rejuvenation festival for a new period. Behind the statue, these are the remaining beautiful turquoise tiles. The tiles that were found in the corridors underneath his pyramids that are dating back to 2700 BC.
Wow.
So their age is 4,700 years old so far. If you take a look at this picture, Andy, over there, as the three pyramids of Giza aligned in one line. In this section we have the builders of them positioned in the same order, starting with the statue of King Khufu.
Khufu. That's
Yes,
that's
the builder of the Great Pyramid.
Great
of Giza,
Pyramid,
and
yes.
yet it is the tiniest royal statue, Andy, that ever found. Over there, 8 centimeters.
Wow.
The only statue for Khufu that has his name and his face.
This one.
This is the only one
little
ever. The little one. The place that this statue is discovered at lies 900 kilometers south of Giza, in a place known as Abydos.
Yes.
Yes,
We're going there. Yeah.
the pilgrimage site there. And then when it was discovered by Egyptologists, it was missing the head. And then they spent 3 months, Andy, sifting the sand around the temple of Abydos till they found this tiny head.
And how they know who
His
it was?
name is written
Ah.
on the left side of his throne over there, Khufu in the cartouche.
Khufu.
But the irony, Andy, that the statue was shaped 2,000 years after Khufu's death,
Oh wow.
because it was actually meant to be an amulet purchased by one of the visitors of the temple of Abydos and offered to the gods. So 2,000 years after the death of King Khufu, he was remembered and he was respected because he built the brilliant pyramid, the gigantic pyramid in Giza, the Great Pyramid.
I guess size doesn't matter.
Yes, exactly. That's an example.
Yes. Now this one looks a little bigger.
Yes. This one is his son, King Khafre, the founder or the king that was buried in the second largest pyramid in Egypt.
Yes.
Next to his father. The statue is depicting the king in such a brilliant way when he's seated on a throne. The details are amazing, and the stone that is used to carve the statue is very hard. That made Egyptologists believe that probably in order to do such a statue today, we need to use laser,
Special
the
tools.
modern laser,
Yeah. Oh,
or
laser.
diamonds.
Oh really?
Yes.
So they were able to do that.
Who
Wow.
knows?
Who knows?
They were
Yeah.
able to find diamonds.
Yeah.
And probably they used diamond to carve it. When you take a look at the king's face, you'll see that there's a tiny smile over his face, Andy. The muscles of the body are very symmetrical and well carved. The nails of the fingers, the toes down there. Even his name is written in the cartoon, Khafre, down there. And then God Horus is protecting the king's head with its well-carved feathers and well-carved body. When you stand in front of the statue, Andy, the falcon would never be seen, right? And this is because the gods are not revealed to anybody. And here we have the
Ooh, look at that.
remaining statue, or we call it, Andy, a group statue. It depicts King Menkaure, the builder of the third pyramid in Giza, with the goddess of love, Hatshepsut, on the king's right side, holding the king's hand. This is the goddess that raised Horus, the son of God Osiris, according to the Egyptian mythology. And Hathor is depicted here, showing her support to the king, indicates that the gods are standing right next to the king. On the other side, you see, there's another lady, Annie, but this time, this lady has no crown. The king has his crown, the goddess has its own emblem, but there is a symbol above the lady's head over there. And this is the symbol of Dendra, the center of the worshipping of God. So the lady over there, probably it refers to a province, or referring to the people in the province, or the third theory is this probably is a local deity that was worshipped in the province because the Egyptian religion had two different types of gods. The patron ones, the main ones, and the minor ones. In every local town, in every local province, there was this god or goddess that people respected and worshipped the most. And then the other example right next to it is quite similar. The difference is only the lady,
Even
the emblem above its head, and the way the arms are positioned,
so the water and the mud.
the hands positioned over the king's arms, embracing the king. The two ladies here showing their support and love. One of the kings of the 5th dynasty, the rest of the body was missing. They only found the head, but it's very beautiful enough. You see how young his facial features, carved in a very beautiful way, with the eye makeup, the high cheekbones, and the delicate nose with the tiny smile on the lips. And you see how they were fixing the crown, and if you come to this side, you'll see there is something like a clips that used to go around the ear, so they could fix the crown on the ears over there, so it would be fixed over there most of the time. You know, today, Andy, there are so many people speaking about aliens and saying that the pyramids were built by aliens, right?
Right.
But we found this royal statue buried in the pyramid of the king, the pyramid of King Pepi at the complex of Saqqara. The way he is standing and the material of the statue are very interesting. You're looking toward bronze, Andy.
Yes.
Bronze from the 6th dynasty, 2350 BC. The way the statue is made is very interesting. It is hollowed from inside. So probably they made a model, a wooden model, and then they nailed the bronze around it. You can see some of the nails still there. But when the grave raiders opened the pyramid, they found a bronze statue. They took the gold and left the bronze behind. This means that the waist and the crown,
It's gold.
they were gold, yes. So right here we have,
That looks like Elizabeth Taylor.
maybe, who knows? So the discovery of this tomb that belongs to the Kaaper, your Rahotep and Nofret. By the way, and the Rahotep was the brother of Khufu, the brother of the king. So he was a noble man. He had very important titles, and his titles are carved in black hieroglyphics next to the head. The story of the discovery is very interesting. Imagine the Egyptian workers were digging in the plateau of Giza, and then they found the entrance to the tomb. And then they were carrying candle of fire. Once they stepped inside, the fire came on the eyes of the two-seated statue, and then they went running out, shouting, "We found real human beings in the tomb."
Really? They thought they were real.
Yeah, they thought they are real because of the eyes. The eyes are very delicate in a way that they look like the human eye. And this is what they meant to do, Andy. They went to mimic the human eye.
Yes.
They created the white of opic, and then the crystal, and then the pupil is obsidian. So the three stones
Obsidian.
that similar to the human eye. The rest of the bodies of the two couple, Rahotep is well carved in such a noble way. Seated, he's wearing his necklace, the mustache, the hair, everything about the statue is interesting.
These look different than all the other things we've seen so far.
Yes, exactly. He was a noble man, brother of the king, so he had his own body carved the way he likes. And then his beautiful wife, Nofret, the beautiful queen, that's the translation of the name.
Beautiful queen.
She's wearing a very beautiful dress that has two parts, an inner dress and a garment covers the shoulders, revealing her beauty. And there is a white collar around the neck. It has 22 pendants.
Oh, wow. Yes.
Probably this was diamond. So this is an indication of how rich they were. You can take a look at the eyes, the face, and the natural hair, Andy, that is covered with a hair wig. The fashion in the Old Kingdom were taking them toward wearing hair wigs, Andy. And she's wearing something like a pendant that holds the wig over the head. This is the one you wanted to see. This is Kaaper, Andy, the high priest that was named Kaaper. And Kaaper, this statue has a very interesting name. It was given by the workers when it was discovered. It's known till today as the mayor of the city. Because the moment they found it, one of the workers pointed at him and said, "This man looks like our mayor today." So since the discovery, it has this very interesting name, Sheikh al-Balad, or the mayor of the city in English. Originally, this man was a high priest. And the way that his body is well represented is somehow different than the usual shape in Old Kingdom. The early dynasties, they usually depicted everybody in such an ideal way.
They gave him a double chin.
Yeah, right? And a belly.
So it's
over there.
It's realistic.
Yeah, exactly. This is one of the few realistic statues that are dating back to the Old Kingdom. The way that is made is very interesting, Andy. The arms are made separately and
Yeah, you can
joined
see that, yeah.
with hinges over there. The eyes are very vivid and very beautiful. Looks like the human eye they were talking about earlier. And then on the other side, those are also priests depicted in such a way, same way of carving or making statues out of wood. So from this point, we will see examples from the Middle Kingdom, Andy. The Middle Kingdom that started after a civil war arose in a country by the end of the Old Kingdom. Old Kingdom kings were strong, able to maintain control over the country, and then chaos took place after the 6th dynasty till the 11th dynasty. The 11th dynasty kings launched a military expedition, controlling and conquering every province that stood in the face of the kings. And then they started the Middle Kingdom. The Middle Kingdom that depicted for us, or represented for us, different shapes, different religious beliefs, as we see here. This is King Mentuhhotep II, the leader of the military expedition that was able to unify Egypt after it was divided again. The statue this time is depicting him in such an interesting shape. This is the shape of God Osiris, the god that used to run the final judgment. And the king, with his crossed arms, black color, he is now the manifestation of Osiris. He's wearing the white crown of Lower Egypt because his homeland was Lower Egypt. He wasn't from Upper Egypt as most of the kings that ruled in the Old Kingdom. And then right next to it, we see one of his successors, King Senusret I, that for the first time we see close to the statue. Larger size than the usual. Granite depicts the king in such a glorious way. Standing with one step forward, wearing the crown of Egypt, Andy. Which crown is this? The double crown.
I was just about to say the double crown.
The double crown, yes. The mix between the red and the white.
And the Middle Kingdom is what years roughly?
Oh, this was 2200 BC, marks the beginning.
2200 BC,
Yes.
okay.
Till the time of the Hyksos that invaded Egypt by the end of the Middle Kingdom and caused the decline of the Middle Kingdom, and a new era started after that. Look at this man.
He looks older.
Yes. Look at the ears, bigger ears, wrinkles all over the face, showing his actual age.
Yes.
Well, this is a full-line body and only a human face.
Okay.
So the way they carved the Sphinx at Giza is different. There we have an entire human head, but here we have
just the
only
face.
The King's face. What's interesting about this Sphinx that it was carved in the Middle Kingdom, but recycled and reused by other kings along the time afterwards. We have 6 square lanes carving the base, carved on the base of the entire Sphinx. It's now depicted, Andy, in a high priest costumes as the high priest himself. And this is what the Middle Kingdom gave us. We started to see kings leading ceremonies themselves. So I know that he's in high priest form because of the strange hair wig, the full beard, the panther face and skin covering the entire body. The famous queen that was able to rule Egypt in 18th dynasty.
Right. And she has that very large temple, yeah.
In the West Bank.
Which I'm going to be seeing that. Yeah,
yes, you'll be seeing that later. But now, what's the story of this lady? She was the queen of Egypt for only 4 years, and when she was married to King Thutmose II, who happened to die early after only 4 years on the throne of Egypt. So King Thutmose II had an heir to the throne. his young son, which was from a minor wife. So she was his stepmother. She wasn't the mother. The son was Thutmose III. He was 6 years old. So at first, she announced herself to be the Queen Regent. The Queen Regent for 2 years. And then she was able to rule as the Queen of Egypt for almost 20 years. And she had to create this story that the gods visited her mother and gave her the seed of Hatshepsut before she was born. So she declared herself to be the daughter of the god Amenhotep. And that's how she was accepted as the Queen of Egypt, by convincing everybody she is the direct daughter of the god. This face was part of a complete statue at her temple in Deir al-Bahari, where you will see the rest of the body is a male body, not a female body.
Really?
And this is also another thing Hatshepsut did, depicted herself in every statue as a man, because she would never be accepted as a woman. According to the Egyptian creation mythology and the gods, the air god was a male god, and that's why every king on the throne of Egypt had to be a male. He had to bring this statue through the ceiling,
Really?
and it was cut into parts and then restored within here.
Wow.
It wasn't one piece. It was part of his remaining ruins of the mortuary temple he built for himself in the west bank of Luxor, that unfortunately was totally destroyed due to the several earthquakes that had Egypt along the history. Today, there are two remaining colossal seated statues known as the Colossal of Memnon.
Yes.
There, you will see them marks the entrance of his temple, or the remaining part of his temple. And now you see the king is seated next to his wife, beautiful Queen T. Do you see how the hair wig style changed between the old, middle, and new kingdom, Andy? The daughters of the queen are between the legs, and you see here the queen is seated in the same level as the king. And this is something we didn't see in the Middle Kingdom or the Old Kingdom. Apparently in the New Kingdom, women had higher influence, and they started to play a very important political role, appearing with the kings in every scene, every ceremony in Egypt. And this is shown in example of it. So this head was found in a shop, a workshop in Al-Amarna city, the city of Akhenaten, that was built during his lifetime, because he created a new religion, and he brought back the worshipping of god Aten to be the main cult in Egypt, which met resistance from the priests of god Amun-Ra, and then he had to move toward Elminia Governorate today and built his new settlement there known as Al-Amarna, where we found this unfinished head. And by the way, it was found in the same place where the complete head of Nefertiti that's still today in Berlin Museum is. So the unfinished head depicts for us the way the artisan was able to carve the features, the human facial features, in such a symmetrical and detailed way. There is a black line, Andy, that separates or divides the face into two sides.
Yes.
And then they mark everything before they carve. So the black color marks how they were shaping the entire face, and then they start carve around it, and then they added the crown afterwards. So the crown was a separate piece that was added above the head. They meant to make this face or this unfinished head as the complete one. This is the lid of a coffin, Andy, that originally had the mummy of Akhenaten, the heretic king, the king that was hated by every other king afterwards and every priest. And that's why you see his face is not here, and his cartouche was defaced over there, so his soul would be lost forever. Standing before the statue of Ramesses II in a child form. How do I know it's a child form? So in ancient Egypt,
is that
the
Horus?
child, yes, that's Horus in the back.
Yes.
The children is depicted with one finger in the mouth and a side look of hair. That's the first time. And then when you read the name on the base, you see the name of King Ramesses right here written. Userkaf Ra Sitib in Ra. That's his full name in the cartouche. what I find very interesting in the shape of the statue, Andy, that the artisan meant to shape the statue in this shape in order to read the name of King Ramesses out of the shape. So there are 3 signs here in a statue that when you put them together, they read the name of Ramesses. The first one is the sun disk above the head. This is Ra, R-E. And then the position of the child is Mes, M-S. This symbol,
So they're spelling out Ramses.
yes. So they are spelling out Ramesses, and then the Su plant he's holding in hand is the last 2 letters of the name. So Ra-Mes-Su. That's his name written in 3 symbols. And it's very interesting how the falcon is protecting the king. You see, the falcon is in large size
Yes.
because the king was a child.